Hello and welcome to the day 3 shoot and share challenge. So, hope you enjoyed day 1 and day 2. I've been seeing some fab photos and I want to thank Abigail and Josh for their entries so far, and I know there's some more photos to come in. So if you haven't had a chance yet, I would love you to watch the video. We are getting that website set up and the link should be emailed to the email address provided by your parent when they registered. And on that website we'll get those photos up. That's my next job. So today we are looking at composition. We're going a bit deeper. So we made mention of the rule of thirds, and this is a compositional thing that we use in photography. Composition being how you put things into this frame that your photos are in to make people think, to make them feel, and to convey that you want, so that they interpret what you're saying, so they get your message and so that they can enjoy the photograph. So the rule of thirds, firstly, is where we have the grid, like the tic-tac-toe or the noughts and crosses board, such as this. Here we are. So do you remember we made the cutout yesterday for the window? Well, today we're going to do a slightly different version. When you take your cardboard, I've measured again an inch or 2.5 centimetres from the edge in and put the spots in, having measured in with the ruler. So I've taken my ruler and measured in and put the dots along here. Now I've got them all, I can join them up. So draw a line, and I do this all the way around, and then literally with the scissors. Please get permission from your parent to do this, because this can go wrong. You need to puncture through the cardboard. It's always helpful if you have some blue tack or something on the other side of it, or they get help with a knife in the they might have a craft knife that they can use for you. So once you've done that, you then need to cut up the middle, and then obviously cut along the lines so that you actually end up with a window cut out. And once we have that window cut out, oh, I've just broke it. That's what happens when you look at the camera and not what you're doing. We'll just imagine it's like that. Let's not cut the rest of it. For the string, do you see there's little notches? So I measured from this line here to this line here, and then got my calculator. Unless you're good at maths and it is a nice even number you can divide, and not a point something or other. And I measured from the top line to the bottom line, divided it into 3. What was left then became this one, so I measured from there down to here and put the line, and I did the same on the other side. See, I've drawn the line right to the edge so that I can see where to, and then put the little notch, and then you're able to literally, where the point is, that's where you're cutting to, so you just cut a diagonal up to it and a diagonal down to it. Then your string will sit in the notches, and you can have the 2 there and the 2 top to bottom. It gives you that grid that you can see on the screen. Now, if you want to go one step further than that and you're feeling really fancy and you want to be able to have adjustable lines, because sometimes you don't need to have them exact. Sometimes the string could be closer together in the frame or slightly further apart. Then don't put the notches in, and when you tie your string around and put a knot in it so that it stays in a circle, what you can then do, so if you're not using the string to move, if you're just doing it in the notches, pull the bit over here and then a bit of sellotape and stick it in place, and do the same on the other side with a little bit of sellotape to keep the string there. If you want it to move, don't put the notches in and tie a loop, and then you can slide that, imagine this is my string, slide that along to move it in, and ditto with this one. So as long as they both move in the same amount, and top to bottom they both move the same amount, then we can look at where the intersection points are. So talking of intersection points, let's have a look at those. We have an example here where there's purple lines. So this is a photo from the first photo challenge that we did last month, and you have the rule of thirds. That's where your string is, but you see the blue circles? That is the intersection where the lines cross. This point where they intersect, where they join, that is where you want the focal point. So this is a really centered photo, but it sort of works because you see the grass line is along 1/3 and the brick line is along another third, but the teddy's quite small in the middle and he's central, so we can improve that. So we did. Oh, okay, I pressed press that button and that's what happens. That's interesting. So we now have one where, do you see, the line's along, we've zoomed in, we've got closer to him, and the line is now along the grass, and it's at the top, it is along the brick line. So there's those two. And then this one coming down comes through, the line comes through his eye, and his hip socket joins along where the grass line joins. So that's somewhat better. We're doing well. But this one, look at this bad boy. So this one, he seems very central, but he's not just central, because look, his eyes both pretty much fall on the intersection points, and his two legs, his hip sockets, fall pretty much. If you were being exact, you'd twist him slightly, but you can see that then his legs are running down the thirds and his eyes are, and so that makes for a more pleasing composition. But we're not just going to be doing the rule of thirds. Do you see how we got closer and we changed what was going on? So I have taken some photos around my garden and outside. You can choose for your photos. Once you've made your frames, that's part one of the activity, and you're looking at things, you can look at a scene and you can hold that frame up and you can see the grid lines. Now, your phones may well have the option in the settings to turn on the grid. Give that a go, and you can digitally see it while you're shooting, and you can move it accordingly. You may find that easier than making the frame, but either which way, we are going to now look at what we can do next to take it up a notch using composition and zooming. So let's look at here. Let me go full screen for you. This is quite a bland green photo. Everything's green. This is my plum tree in the garden. I really like it. It makes lots of fruit, but it's an old rickety tree, and we're gradually having to prune it back to the shape a lot lower as the new green branches come in at the bottom. So it's a really weird shape. You've got the new branches growing at the bottom and the old ones doing all sorts at the top, the way we had it when the house was built. So I took the photo and thought, I can do better than this. So I moved closer and I looked up. I thought, well, if we get some sky across the top, and if we get the main upright branch on the third line over here, and I put one of the intersection points is pretty much this circle, and then where this branch comes out, you've got the second, and it sort of runs along there, so you get the idea. And we've got a diagonal line that's pointing towards this top corner, because we like diagonals towards corners in composition. So we're doing a bit better. We can do better still. So do you see just below it, here is hanging this wonderful branch in a gap that's like framed by a window. So I got in closer, and this has more impact. Like, you can see what you're looking to. Your eyes are automatically drawn to these warm greener leaves and this bunch that falls down a line of thirds. Zoom in a bit more, and it falls down exactly on the third. So I'm like, yeah, now I'm winning. And this bunch again on the intersection point. And we've got a nice diagonal coming down the outside that leads up to, so we lead up from this blurred diagonal and down the main one. The foreground is blurred, the background is blurred, so what we want to focus on, our eyes look at the focus point, so what we're focusing on just here is that fruit that is in focus. I went, okay, let's get rid of distractions completely and zoom in even more, and again thirds, and this really strips it back. It's all about those plums and those leaves. So from here to here, oh, and here. You've got to agree, we've improved it. Shall we take another one? So we take a photo of the whole scene. Bit of a mess. This is next to the building site. This wall's about to come down, so we've got a pile of bricks under a tarpaulin, and we've got the old fence panels as well, doing some renovations. Bit of a bland photo, not well composed, not interesting. So I thought, how can I make it interesting? And I literally moved closer and changed the angle and looked along the logs by focusing, using the flower mode, the macro mode, the close-up mode on the camera. So on your phones, ladies and gents, I know I spoke to Josh and he has this mode, he's just not used it. This is what it's for, Josh. That close-up mode. So instead of having everything in focus, but even if everything was in focus, you've got the nice lines coming down, and just whatever's closest to the camera will fall closer into focus than what's further away anyway. See this one? we've got more of it in focus to give you more of an idea, but I didn't like the brick, you see. The brick was still distracting over here in the top corner. So I thought, okay, I'll just lift the brick off and move it. Please don't move anything you're not allowed to, and whatever you do move, put it back where it came from. So there we go. And we've got the diagonal lines. We've got rid of the brick in the top corner that was distracting, and we have that nice repetition, that pattern. So that photo is so much better. And then I thought I'd take one just with it at more of an angle. Do you see these lines come more directly through the corners? And the lines just keep going. So by comparison, from here to here, big improvement, right? So let's do it again. We take the whole scene, we look and we go, oh, pine tree down the third, the sort of the line of the shed down the third, and a bit of a diagonal across. It's okay. Let's move across and focus on the wood. So we've got the diagonal coming up to meet the wood. So your eye is drawn along. So this is like leading lines, drawing the eye along the diagonal. And we've got the diagonal wood panel up to it, and this is on that intersection point where that circle is. Moved it across, so I moved round and I literally twisted the camera as I moved closer and looked along the fence panel. So your eye is drawn, and you see how I made sure that this plank literally went into the corner of the frame. See this bottom right corner down here? And then it comes up and leads the eye down to this plank where it joins. We've got a bit more tree, so some more green. The green's basically that third of the photo just there. And we've got the diagonal plank. So again, I think we're doing a bit better than that first shot from here to here. But I thought we can go better still. So let's bring the tree in. So the fir tree is now on the third line. We have a leading line coming up that leads us to the tree branch. See that? So it comes up from the bottom corner, leads us to the tree branch, and then across the top you've got the tree branch that comes along on the third line, and then you've got the stem that brings us back down, and then that stem joins the plank that leads us back up along this diagonal right back. So we're doing triangles as well. Now if you can get eyes to keep walking around in a frame and moving from object to object following lines, that is going to be amazing, because the aim of any composition, it doesn't need to be lines, it could be objects strategically placed or things that are pointing. If you can keep the eye going round in circles in the frame, people will never get bored. If things make them leave the frame and point out of the photograph somewhere else and they get pointed out and lost, nothing to bring them back again. So if you can not only get like a rule of third, you see like the tree branches, and also they've got the diagonals, the leading line and everything going around and around. Let's do it again. Nice flowers, I thought, but tree sort of on the third line. But it's a bit messy and lots of green with not a lot of contrast. So the bright green isn't that much brighter in the foreground than the dark green in the background. So I thought, let's get closer. So we walk closer. And you see how I've made the white flowers now contrast against the dark green background? Because I'm closer to them, that feels darker further back. And it's pointing up to that top intersection, diagonally comes up along here and points into this bit just here where the white flowers are. Problem being, this post. This post is really distracting. So I ducked down and looked up to try. That meant the post was then hidden because the flowers went higher in effect because I was lower than them. So the post is hidden, but it's still not perfect. So you see the little bit of the post. There's now white light coming through the trees, gaps in the tree, which is confusing the flowers. So you've lost the contrast. It's no longer just against a dark green background. The white flowers have white next to them, which isn't so good. So I thought, okay, I'm going to move round because the gap in the tree is here. So if I move, so I'm stood over here more, so I'm looking against this screen, I'll get that contrast back. But I also thought, I'm going to get rid of the nettles. I don't like this nettle bit here, so I turn the camera to portrait. Ta-da! So now the white flowers stand out against the darker green. You've got this diagonal line pointing up to that corner. It sort of comes up straight to begin with, so you've sort of got the third, and the post is mostly hidden. So that is a more pleasing composition. So we're getting the idea. We walk in, we take a big photo, then we move and we recompose and we get closer and we try different angles until we get what we're happy with. This is my upper path. and then it zigzags down and joins the lower path that comes along. And on the lower path there's some of the building materials still there that need dealing with. So we've got some paving slabs and some bits of, there's a ball of string there and a stone and a pallet, and we've had a lot of rain so everything's growing up, so it looks a bit messy, but I loved this log with the bark peeling off. So I thought, let's get closer and take one of the log. Again, you need the close-up mode if you're going to get that close, or you can find bigger things or things with less around them and it won't matter, like those flowers that you saw. I didn't use macro mode for that one. That one was just the flowers and the background was far enough away that it blurred anyway. So with this, I was like, okay, nicer, I can see the wood and the bark, but this green is really distracting me. I'm not looking at the wood, I keep jumping off to look at the green, and this stick's taking me off and out. So I changed angle and twisted it. So I twisted the camera around and I came on an angle, and now you see that we've got a diagonal pointing across through the frame. You've got like a top section and a bottom section of bark, and then this has become the main feature and there's not any distracting colours. Once more, almost there. Wood piles. Didn't like the chair. Dead easy. What do? We move things we're allowed to and put them back when we're done. So I moved the chair. Now I thought, well, the area's a little bit messy in that, again, still doing building work. So I thought if I get lower, so I dropped down lower and got closer to the wood. So now do you see that this wire is running directly along the third line at the top third, and then where the wood stack ends and the next one starts is down that right hand third, and we've got a diagonal leading up to the lower right hand third. So one intersection, two intersection. But I thought we can do better than that, so I moved in because I thought that the weeds that need pulling out, as I said, we had a lot of growth recently that need getting rid of. So I got them closer and got rid of them. Much less distracting. Still got a line leading our eye and the third coming down. But because of the angle change, I've got more of the wall in. It's no longer wood meets wood, so I'm still not happy. So I thought, okay, let's look at that wood stack on the ends. Do you remember? See the wood stack on the ends? So I just made that, and along the bottom I've got the line of greenery growing, and then along here I've got the third line, and I've also centered these two, so we've got leading lines, so they're coming in like a diagonal, the two paving slabs. So I stood in the middle of them, so you've got three paving slabs, which make three, and the lines pointing up, and they lead the eyes up to the wood, and then the metal line leads it back in and across. So your eye's doing lots of zigzagging up and down along this line. You've got these two lines leading you in to look at the wood. You're looking at the wood and you naturally come up here, but then you want to come back down and look at what's going on with the gap and the bottom. But I thought the weeds still are a bit distracting, so I got above and looked down on an angle on that wood pile on the third line, and lots of wood, and I thought, actually I really like the ends of this wood. So I zoomed in close to the other wood stack, but I didn't like the wire, so I twisted. So I literally took the camera, I don't know if you can see my hands, and I twisted it till the wood was straight on and I was stood parallel with it. So the two lines, me and the camera, were parallel to the wood stack. So that is your challenge today. Take one photo of the, oh, that wasn't the intro I expected. Take one photo of the whole scene. Once you've taken your one photo of the whole scene, I want you to move with your feet, zoom in closer, if needs be with the camera as well, but I want you to physically move your body and change position as you do it, and work out where your composition could have the third lines, where your composition may have some nice diagonals in it, where you can combine a third line and a diagonal and bring the eyes round. And I want you to get closer still and see if you can get rid of all the distractions. So I want one photo of the whole scene, then I want to see your improvements, 2 or 3 more photos, so you should end up with 3 or 4 photos total. The first one, the improvement, the composition, zooming in, okay? All the best, can't wait to see the photos, and we will be on the Zoom call. Hopefully a few more of you will be able to join us and we can play a few more games, look at your photos and answer any questions, and maybe go a bit deeper into some of the composition there and see what we like about the way you've done your photos. Thank you so much. Take care now. See you again.